the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 28 in the Apocrypha. For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Hey, I'm going to stop right there. I want to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Hey, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Hey, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. And shalom to the 140 and 4,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah from the GMS Denver camp, coming at you with a lesson in regards to the importance of the wisdom that we've received from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in these last days. All right? Highly important, man. And it's not to be taken lightly. It's not to be taken for granted. Because the Lord is not dealing with those who are not dwelling with wisdom. And wisdom is a spirit. All right? In case you didn't know, wisdom is a spirit. And, King Solomon, all right, he was the wisest man that walked the earth before he came back as Yahweh Shai. Solomon was known for his wisdom, hence the book, Wisdom of Solomon. He was known amongst the different heathen, rulers for his wisdom. Okay? The Lord was dealing with Solomon very closely. Because if you can receive it, that is the same spirit of our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right? But that's another lesson. The point is that wisdom is important for your salvation. It's important for your survival. And we're to hold on to wisdom and not be like the rest of our people out here who are moving foolishly. And the only true wisdom comes from Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Understand that. The only true wisdom comes from Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And the elect will obtain that in these last days. All right? So that should be, one of the most sought after things that you pray for when it comes to your prayers, man. Wisdom. Okay? And matter of fact, let's get the book of 2 Chronicles, the first chapter, because I was reading that and it really inspired me to do this lesson. But let's go ahead and get into it. Wisdom of Solomon, not Wisdom of Solomon, the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 1. So here it is right here, the account, all right, of King Solomon in the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 1. And this is when Solomon began to reign in the stead of his father David, King David. But it goes on to say right here in verse 1, and Solomon, the son of David, was strengthened in his kingdom, and the Lord Yahweh, his power was with him, and magnified him exceedingly. So yeah, King Solomon, man, he was no joke. You understand? King Solomon was the richest man on the earth. All right, he was wise, like a whole nother level, a whole nother level of wisdom. Okay. Then Solomon spake unto all Israel, to the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and to the judges, and to every governor in all Israel, the chief of the fathers. So he was speaking to all the great men of Israel back then, right? King Solomon had a huge lot. All right. So Solomon and all the congregation with him went to the high place that was at Gibeon, for there was the tabernacle of the congregation of the Most High, which Moses, the servant of the Lord Yahweh, had made in the wilderness. But the ark of the Most High had David brought up from Kirjath Jearim to the place which David had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it at Jerusalem. Moreover, the brazen altar that Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made, he put before the tabernacle of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And Solomon and the congregation sought unto it. Let's get into the point here. Verse 6. And Solomon went up thither to the brazen altar before the Lord Yahweh, which was at the tabernacle of the congregation, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings upon it. And that night did the Most High appear unto Solomon, and said unto him, ask what I shall give thee. You see this? And check it out. And Solomon said unto the Most High, thou hast showed great mercy unto David my father, and hast made me to reign in his stead. Now, O Yahweh, power, let thy promise unto David my father be established, for thou hast made me king over a people like the dust of the earth in multitude. Showing you that the Israelites, are a very, very large number. Okay? And that was a promise made unto Abraham. You would make Abraham a father of a multitude, man. Because out of Abraham came Isaac, and out of Isaac came what? The tribes of Israel. Okay? Through Jacob, you know what I'm saying? Because Jacob had 12 sons who are the patriarchs of the nation of Israel. Now, it goes on to say in verse 10, give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great? And the Israelites are a great people. All right? You see what I'm saying? We're the top people on the face of the earth, as it tells you in Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6, Deuteronomy 14 and 2, and other parts of the scriptures. So to rule over such a great people, the Lord's chosen people, you can't be no geek off the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be no fucking, fool out here, man. This is the Lord's sheep that you're dealing with here. All right? And King Solomon knew that. So verse 11, it says, and the Most High said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, or in his mind, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet hast asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king. Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like. Now this is also kind of a foreshadowing to King Solomon coming back as Yahushua, all right? Because spirits, they come back to the earth. It's called regeneration. We've all been here before, all right, under different names, in different bodies, but the spirits are the same, And Yahushua, before he came as Yahushua, he was Solomon, all right? And prior to that, he was also Isaac, all right, and Adam, okay? But anyway, the point is that Yahushua, his kingdom is like none other, man, because he is Solomon, and this promise is fulfilled in Yahushua. But anyway, verse 13, it says, then Solomon came from his journey to the high place that was at Gibeon to Jerusalem, from before the tabernacle of the congregation, and reigned over Israel. And Solomon gathered chariots and horsemen, and had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, which he placed in the chariot cities, and with the king at Jerusalem. So he had tremendous wealth, man. And you can't be a dummy and have all this wealth, man, and have this position of authority. And it was perfect that that King Solomon asked for wisdom. You see? And that's what we should be asking for, man. We need to take a page out of King Solomon's book, man, and ask the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua for wisdom for these last days. All right, especially those of you who are teaching the word. All right? You see what I'm saying? But anyway, continuing on, verse 15, it says, and the king made silver and gold at Jerusalem as plenteous as stones, and cedar trees made he as the sycamore trees that are in the vale for abundance. So he was prospering, in other words, okay? He was prospering. His kingdom prospered, heavily because of his wisdom. And the Lord granted him those riches, man, because he asked for wisdom. Now, verse 16, it says, and Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt and linen yarn. The king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And they fetched up and brought forth out of Egypt a chariot for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And so brought they out horses for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria by their means. But All right. The point is here in this chapter that we just read is that the Lord was pleased with Solomon's request for wisdom. All right. You see? So let's get a few more precepts on the importance of wisdom. All right. Here we have Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. Heavy hitter. We always bring this out. We're going to continue to bring it out, man, because it's important, right? And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is his treasure. All right. And King Solomon had all these. He was granted, divine wisdom and knowledge to lead the Israelites for that kingdom to prosper. And the kingdom of Solomon was a prelude to the kingdom of heaven. All right. And we were at peace for 40 years under the wise rulership of King Solomon. All right. Now, yeah, he did go off later on. That was a part of his lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have people that say, well, what about when he failed to, his wives and whatnot? Yeah, that was a part of his journey. All right. And, he got it right when he came back as Yahweh Shai. Because it tells you that Yahweh Shai himself said that greater than Solomon is here. But I want to, expound on this a little bit more. Wisdom and knowledge is going to keep us stable in the times that we're in. Because we're in very turbulent times, if you don't know. We're entering into the time known as Jacob's trouble, the worst time this earth has ever seen. We're getting ready to witness a societal collapse. Esau, Edom coming down with great wrath, coming with all kind of trickery and deceit. You're going to need the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the wisdom of the will of the Most High, the wisdom of the prophecies, man. That's the true wisdom. All right? Because the wisdom of this world is going to fail you in the time we're coming into. Because if you don't have the wisdom of the Lord, then you're not going to make it, man. You can have a bunch of degrees and a bunch of different accolades in this life, but it's not going to get you that salvation that which is what we need and what we desire. All right. That's going to come from having the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. It says the fear of the Lord is his treasure. And King Solomon definitely feared the Most High. That's why he asked for wisdom, so he can guide the Lord's people. You see, that reverence, that fear for the Lord, man. And here we have the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18. It says, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, or in this society, let him become a fool that he may be wise. So pretty much it's saying, if you got accolades, different accomplishments in this life, you might have been a successful businessman. You might have a bunch of degrees and whatnot, a bunch of different, things that this world looks at as being wise, which is nothing wrong with these things. All right. But it's not the wisdom of the Lord, man. You have to become, a fool pretty much when you come into this truth. All right. Because a fool, he has to learn. He has to gain knowledge. That's how we are. We came into this truth. No matter what we did in the world, no matter how smart we were, in certain things in the world. All right. We understood that we have to learn as those new babes, as a brand new baby in the spirit. When we come into this truth, we have to learn from our elder apostles, taking notes, gathering wisdom, man. Because if you think you know it all right, you want to be a wise guy in this truth, you're going to really understand, through different, how should I say this? When you come into this thing thinking that you know it all, the Lord going to let you fall flat on your face, man. You have to be, dealing with a level of humility in order to learn. Because everything you learn in this world is contrary pretty much to what the Lord is giving us. Okay? So there you go. You got to become a fool in this truth so that you can become wise in the real sense of wisdom. Verse 19, it says, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. You're going to fall on your face, man. All right, you got these heathen out here, man. They think that they're wise. They got certain, different positions in this society. All right. You got these damn Elamites in Silicon Valley and the East Indians. They have a certain level of wisdom in this world. But guess what? It ain't going to profit them. First of all, they're not Israelites. And second of all, the wisdom that they have doesn't lead to salvation. All right. They don't have the wisdom of the things that are pleasing unto the Lord. That's also part of the wisdom that we have, knowing what the Lord is pleased with. You see? Showing the fruits of the Spirit. So the wise out here that are crafty in this world, they're going to be taken in their own craftiness. Esau has a certain level of wisdom, man. Wicked wisdom. All right? But it's going to lead to his own downfall. Because he can't receive the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And again, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. That's right, man. You can have the knowledge of how to build rockets. You can be a damn rocket scientist. You know what I'm saying? An astrophysicist with a bunch of damn, college degrees and whatnot. You could be a theologian with theology degrees from these seminary schools out here. All right? But those accolades are vain if you're not coming with the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is given to his prophets and the elect in these last days. Here's another precept, all right, dealing with wisdom and how the wisdom of this world is not going to really profit you. This is Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 19 and verse 22. It says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. So there you go, man. You got people out here, you got, a lot of Jake out here who are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, as the scriptures tell you. They're good at, finessing and robbing and stealing. All right. They can be good at, stealing cars. All right. Jake becomes an expert at some of these things, man. Expert at selling drugs and whatnot. But that's not true wisdom. All right. That's the knowledge of wickedness. And that goes for Esau as well. He's the chief when it comes to the knowledge of wickedness. Esau's into all kind of different, wicked endeavors in this earth, man. You see? But the counsel of sinners is not prudence, man. All right, here we have the book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 20. Now it says, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Now this can go into your, physical, parents as well. But I look at this in a spiritual sense too. All right. You see, just like, on earth, if you're a wise son, your father will be proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You doing good in life, whatever. Hey, your parents will be proud of you most of the times. Well, guess what? How much more in the heavenly sense, man? Our heavenly Father, he's going to be, glad with us when we're moving in the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. When we're taking heed to his son, Yahushai, who he's told us to, follow. All right? And Yahushai comes in the volume of the book. That's where the true wisdom comes from. And he gives it to his men, starting with the prophets. You see, we want to make our Father glad, man, down here on this earth. So we're moving in the wisdom of the Lord, man, in these last days. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, all right, chapter 39 and verse 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, which are these scriptures, all right, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. Knowing the prophecies is a level of wisdom that the rest of this world can't receive. All right. Knowing the will of the Lord is a level of wisdom that the majority of our people have not obtained, as it tells you in Romans 11 and verse 7. All right. The elect have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. Right. So this is not a light thing, man. The Lord has brought us into this marvelous light. He's given us of this heavenly wisdom to know the course of prophecy, man. To know about World War III, to know who the Edomites are, to know, that these heathen nations are against us. To know what's going to happen before it happens. That's what prophecy is. All right? The Lord has given us the understanding of his will, man, in these last days. Okay? We understand that the RFID microchip is a major end time prophecy, and it's the mark of the beast, and we're not to take it. That's high level wisdom, because a lot of these people don't have that level of wisdom. They're going to run out here and take that chip because they've rejected the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right? It tells you my people perish for a lack of knowledge, man. Hosea 4 and 6 tells you that. So we're highly, favored in the eyes of the Lord, man, just for him bringing us into this truth. All right. Letting us partake in this feast of wisdom, man, true wisdom. And that's something that, like I said, that's something that we should pray for more and more. All right. You're going to need wisdom for these times we're in, man. Knowing how to move. The scriptures give you that, man. Tells you how to move around Esau, if you're apprehended, by these devils. You know what I'm saying? If ICE grabs you up or police grab you up, it tells you that in the book of Matthew, how to maneuver and how to act accordingly. The scriptures tell you how to deal with women, how to avoid light women, women who are wicked and things like that. The Lord gives us all this wisdom in the scriptures, man. All right. And the rest of the world, they're just going off of their own vain opinions and carnal lusts. It's going to lead to their demise, man. They're not being guided by the spirit of wisdom that comes from the throne of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So we're occupied in prophecies in these last days so that we can know what the fuck is going on. Excuse my French. But I'm going to get ready to end this. I want to bring this out real quick. The book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." And you see this happening. All right. You see this happening even amongst these Israelite groups out here, man, who the Lord is not really dealing with like that, man. All right. You see these wicked men that got on fringes, that got congregations. All right. They're getting worse and worse. All right. Such as the IUIC. There's just a video that came out. There's a video that just came out of the IUIC, pretty much self-worshiping themselves. You know what I'm saying? They came up with an AI video glorifying themselves, man. And it looked really corny and really tacky. You see? It's because they're waxing worse and worse. They're not coming with sincerity. And the scriptures tell you also that wisdom will flee deceit. So you got these Israelite groups out there, these leaders of these Israelite groups that are coming with deceit and guile. They're not in it for the right reasons. They're not really here to guide the Lord's people, to salvation. They're here to get their own glory. So wisdom is fleeing them. They're becoming worse and worse, man. Okay. So yeah, man, matter of fact, I'll play a little bit of that clip if I can find it. Because it's crazy. Check this out. Hold on a second. So check this out. This is a clip from the IUIC. Check this out.
"I shall send Nathanael, for he is chosen to gather my children and bring them back to me. And I will send Yawasap, Kanai, and the other pillars, that they may stand with him, to preach, to teach, and to guide my chosen people."
By your will, by your power, and by your name, I will not let you down. Yawasap, Kanai, you have heard the command as I have. The Lord has set before us no simple task. To awaken the people is to stir the bones of the sleeping, to break chains long fastened, to call light into a world swallowed by shadow. This mission will not be easy, but you, my brothers, were chosen for this hour.
So yeah, I'm not even gonna play the whole thing, all right? You can probably find it on their website or something like that, man. But this is ridiculous, man. You see how crazy this looks? All right, they're seeking vain glory, man. They want to be looked at as, great men of Israel instead of just being humble and serving the Lord, man. All right? You see what I'm saying? So they're getting worse and worse. Their doctrines are off. They don't acknowledge the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai like they should. They don't teach that like they should, man, because we believe they've sold out to Esau because they're in it for filthy lucre's sake. So that's why their doctrine is just off. They're talking about hell and eternal hell. They're talking about all kind of different things that aren't according to the will of the Lord, man. All right. So yeah, man, they're waxing worse and worse, man. This is the latest shenanigan that I've seen from the IUIC. So yeah, 2 Timothy 3 and 13, once again, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." So you got to be pure in this thing, man, with your intentions. Just like King Solomon, he was pure in his intentions. He wanted to rule the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people, correctly. So the Lord gave him wisdom, and he became stronger and stronger, man. You know. Now here we have verse 14. It says, "But continue thou in the things that thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai." So there you go, man. All right. The true doctrine of Yahweh Shai, which is given to his prophets out here. And those are the men of great millstones, starting with Elder Apostle Tahar on down. All right. You see, you know, this wisdom is able to lead you into salvation, man, through faith in Yahweh Shai. And that's what we push heavily here at GMS, man. That we're going to be saved through what? Through faith in Yahweh Shai. And with that comes wisdom, man. He grants us wisdom. You see, because it comes from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? And the Lord's going to increase our wisdom as we near towards the day of the Lord, man. Because we're going to be out here in perilous times. And the spirit of wisdom will be dwelling with the elect. Lord willing, we're of that number, man. All right, the elect are not going to have, ulterior motives. Unlike some of these people out here in Israel, man. Here for clout, here for money, here for, vain glory. It's not going to profit you, man. So, just want to do a quick lesson on this, all right? On the importance of wisdom and knowing where it comes from, man. And, you say it in the Hebrew, chakama. Chakama. That's how you say wisdom. All right? Natan laya chazak chakama. Yahweh ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Baba kusha, Baba kusha, Baba kusha. All right? Give unto me strong wisdom. All right? In the name of the Lord, Yahweh ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? That's how you say that in the Hebrew. So, that being said, man, wisdom, man, is what's needed in these last days, man, in order to make it. The true wisdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and his will for us. So I'm in this lesson right here. I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. A Kwam Yasharala in the Bible Ball. Shalom.